Fantastic.
We're live.
Hello, my name is Aleks, Google Educate Group Post-16 leader, one of them. And here we welcome in and put in the spotlight on an incredible person who calls himself didactic AI architect, Raf Peeters. Thank you so much for your time today,
My
Raf.
pleasure, Aleks. My pleasure.
Yesterday, I attended the training online and somebody was talking about a curiosity gap. So I suddenly realized this morning that I've got so many curiosity gaps when I talk to you. So it's going to be really difficult to keep our chat within 15 minutes. Okay. So could you please introduce yourself a little bit more and say why you're calling yourself AI didactic architect?
Well, first, as you can see on my background, I'm a GEG leader as well, but for Belgium and Holland. Together with my colleagues, I love it. It's pure fun. Keep on going, Aleks. You rock. Didactic, because that's my background. I'm a didactic expert. The old style school is my training, but I've always been very curious about edtech and AI. And then I evolved to an edtech expert. Of course, Google for Education, Quizlet, Kahoot, name them. I've studied them and made workshops on them. But let's say November 22, the beast came loose with ChatGPT, later on Bard, God bless him, and now Gemini, of course. And well, the world just became so much bigger. For example, I'm no coder, but suddenly I can code. Suddenly I can create AIs that evaluate, that make lesson plans, that do basically everything if you just realize how to program them. And I try to infuse those technical things bit with what I know about didactics. It's a humble attempt.
That's fantastic. So, Raf, you've been publishing a lot of very thoughtful articles on LinkedIn for the past few years. So they're not just posts about some ideas. You really dive deep into every idea and you're trying to unpack as much as possible and giving people advice on how to use it the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of carving the path for other.
Yeah, it's something new for all of us. So I try to throw out my ideas and hopefully they stick or they will start discussion or help someone. That's the main idea, basically.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So I absolutely love your work. And one of the recent one, it's your metaphor about a console and a cartridge. Can you tell our audience about it?
The console and the cartridge. Well, basically, this is the idea. And the idea came after creating an AI that evaluates speaking exercises. I've put the origin story and everything in it in my post. Basically, the idea is you have one robust AI, that's the console, and you put in your own expertise, your own content, your didactic know-how and your experience as a teacher in it, using the computing power of the console, being the AI. I tried to make a robust system. So before that, I created the Mayor bot, which was a hard-coded didactical tank. It uses Richard Mayer's multimedia principles to help you create a knowledge clip from 5 to 10 minutes explaining a concept to your pupils, but was hard coded. I wanted something generic, and this is it actually. Now, how does it work? So the console is coded with principles such as don't just give feedback, but also give feed forward to your pupils. It's hard coded with things like never comment on the person, comment on the process. Things we all know are good didactical things to do in your lessons, but we sometimes forget them. An AI is very bad at forgetting things you instruct him to remember. So it's a great help in this. It doesn't replace your expertise. Those are those cartridges. For example, if you look closely, you see sales pitch there. You could put in a cartridge with the STAR method of interviewing, for a sales pitch. You could use it as a job interview simulator and let it role play a recruiter, for example. You could basically put in everything, and then the console would handle it with practices, didactical practices we know that work.
So the console is an AI tool. So for example, Gemini,
Yeah.
and the cartridge is the prompt.
The cartridge is your rubric. That would be the easiest. So as an experienced teacher, you have rubrics on all kinds of things that you think are important for a good sales pitch, that are important for a good other verbal things. It also works with video. I haven't practiced it a lot yet, but it works with video as well. So you record something, you give the rubric, and based on those criteria, it will give feedback, feed forward, and lesson ideas even for you as a teacher for further lessons. Perhaps the intro, the hook, was never good with all your pupils. It will give you an idea, well, let's practice a hook with your pupils. Here you have a lesson plan.
Yes, just a quick one. So I recently recorded myself teaching.
Nice.
And I shared it with Gemini. So it was a really interesting experience. Yeah.
Nice.
So thank you so much for sharing it. Just again, so all the articles we're talking about are ideas. So we really wish we could discuss it in more details. But so all the information is available on the LinkedIn, and also Raf is sharing just one document with us. So Raf, the next one. So you had experienced teachers versus new teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about the paradox where new teachers often jump very quickly into AI while experienced teachers are holding back. So why do you think it's happening?
Well, before I start, in this story, there are no good guys and no bad guys. Very important. Everything they do is very valid. I devised, let me see, this one, the golf cart. Well, suppose you see a golf cart in a park. The keys on it, and first an elderly couple, very experienced in driving. They have their license. They walk by. What do? They just walk by. They know it's a golf cart. It's not mine. Let's not use it. A few moments later, youngsters walk by. They have no driver's license, but they're very eager to test things, to play. What do? They joyride. To admit, I would do the same if I were that age. Very understandable why both act that way. The beginner often acts like a slopper, not because they're lazy, but because they're often drowning in workload. It's enormous what you have to do as a teacher. Certainly if you don't have everything prepared from the years before. For them, AI is like a life raft. They prioritize efficiency, production. The risk here is what I call this golf cart, that you might bump into something. They treat AI like a harmless toy and use it blindly, missing the hallucinations, for example, or the bias. The expert, the elderly couple there, is more an aesthete. They hold back now, not out of fear for those tools, but out of taste. They see the shiny plastic output of AI and they say, this isn't good enough, I would do this better. And they're just protecting their own professional craft. So both aims are very valid, in my opinion.
So the next question is, so how can we help our beginners to avoid over-trusting, over-relying on AI? And how can we help our experienced teachers to feel safe experimenting without compromising their professional craft?
I have some ideas on it, not the solution perhaps. For the beginners, we need to change the narrative. Stop treating AI like this fun golf cart you just hop on. It's a supercar. If you make a mistake, it has immense power. So if you make a mistake, you will make a huge crash. Don't take your hands off the wheel of the supercar. They need a driver's license focused on critical thinking. Mostly you get that with experience or with talking and working with more experienced colleagues. For the experts, on the other hand, I have another approach. Well, I live in Flanders, so I don't know if you know him. I have the Rubens approach, Renaissance painter. Rubens didn't paint, he made these massive paintings, 3 on 5 meters, huge paints. He didn't make those canvases alone. He had assistant painters do the backgrounds, the clouds, the draperies, things like that. What he did, he painted the faces, the hands, the soul of the work, the hard stuff, the finishing touch, the Renaissance touch. And it's that particular touch that gave his work its worth. So experts in the same way should let AI be the assistant, just like in the Renaissance, the assistant that clears the noise, admin, basic structures, differentiation, things like that. So they can focus entirely on the master's touch, tweak here, tweak there. And by tweaking those things, make a basic lesson plan a masterpiece.
I absolutely love this comparison. Thank you so much for sharing.
My pleasure.
So, Raf, for the teachers who wants to start using AI today, tomorrow, what is one very, very concrete task where Console and Cartridge approach really shines? Just give us some very easy wins.
Well, an easy win indeed would be to use the feedback assistant. You'll find him, the entire prompt is on my LinkedIn, but you also have it, of course. Start with it. And well, for the beginner, don't ask to write your lesson plan. That requires too much verification. Instead, just take a student assignment, a text, audio, or video like you experimented. Upload your own assessment matrix, or even go to your expert colleague, ask him for a matrix, a rubric. Depend on his expertise or her expertise and ask the AI, which is very robust, to score it based on those criteria. You remain the judge. The AI is just the clerk doing the heavy lifting, and it will lift a lot. It will make transcripts. It will take notes, things that we as a human can't possibly do. For the skeptic or expert, I would use AI perhaps in a different way. Use it as a devil's advocate. It's very, you learn a lot of it. AI can be very critical if you just push it in that corner. Face your expertly written lesson planning and prompt it. You're a critical industry professional. Look at my curriculum and tell me which 3 skills, for example, are outdated compared to current market trends. You teach plus 16 pupils, so they're off to work in a reasonable time. So you need to prepare them to get to work. Ask the AI what we can do to update our lesson plans. It doesn't replace your expertise. It just challenges it and sharpens it. It will sharpen you to look up what's needed today instead of 10 years ago. It saves you research time, and it will, without outsourcing your thinking.
And it's also quite often it helps you see your own blind spots. Yeah.
Yeah. We all have gaps in our ways of working, but we just don't notice them. We're too often working in what Kahneman names System 1 thinking, automatic pilot, and mostly it works.
Well, we are in post-16 education, yeah. So that's so. I think probably the only thing I'm going to ask you. So you suggested that we share audio, video, etc., and student work with, let's just say, with Gemini.
Yeah.
So in terms of the data protection, so how do you think we should address it?
Well, it all depends on what your contract is with Google. Well, I always work in a Google ecosystem, so that's my expertise. Personally, I have teaching and learning upgrade, so the full-blown suite. So I'm safe. I can do everything I want. Now, if you don't have that, which is perfectly fine, you do have to think about some things. I would, for example, not use video. I wouldn't feel safe about that. Sharing it with an AI when I don't have those guarantees. Again, I have those guarantees though, so I don't mind. With voice recording, it's another story. It's no problem because I use the recorder app, but from Google itself, but there are a lot on the markets. Normally, if you use a simple recorder on your telephone, it doesn't record the name. It just gives it a gibberish name, take one, take two, etc. So that's anonymous. So I wouldn't worry about those things.
Okay, but it's also very important. So any work that our students produce, it's their intellectual property. So we always need to ask their permission before.
Yeah, of course. Be open, be open. Don't just say, well, and you didn't know, but I recorded you and uploaded you to an AI. No, of course. Introduce your AI clerk.
So as always, we run out of time. So what would be just one very, very important message for anyone who teaches post-16, post-16 sector?
Moment, I believe I also had something on that one. It would be this one, the supercar crashing into the classroom. Well, there it's oh, you have a lot of power, and with great power comes great responsibility. We must learn from the recent crisis in for example, Alpha School, the AI first school in Colombia, I believe. People are everywhere complaining. South Korea, on which this article is, just the same thing. They introduced AI systems before they were ready. Actually, it was a political push on it. We go AI first, and what basically happened was that teachers became mechanics. They became people repairing the bugs. Oh, this iPad doesn't work. Oh, I don't have Wi-Fi, and they were always repairing. That's not our expertise. We're much better than that. They went too fast, pushed AI top down, and effectively turned teachers into IT support staff. It was a collapse in trust in AI you can never regain. So don't push it. We're humans. My message to post-16, don't lower the bar. On the other hand, be proud on what you do. You're experts. Don't accept good enough. Don't accept slop from an AI. Don't accept it because it's just digital. Vocational education and what you do is craftsmanship. Be the pilot, not the mechanic. The faster the car, the more important the driver becomes, and you are important as a teacher. Never forget that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And just Raf, before we finish today, can you just, so all the articles we're going to share, they are in your first language, in Dutch. So can you just quickly show how to translate the whole document into English, for example?
Good one. Didn't prepare that. Looking for the button again. Am I in a good one? I've done this often before. Was it tools? Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
I would go to English here, E from English. That would be the document. Of course, on LinkedIn, I would use browser translation if I were you.
I use AI to translate and discuss your articles.
So, for example, on LinkedIn, I would go here, pick something random. This is more on vocational training and people laying off other people because they discovered AI. Here you have the translation thing. You don't see my pop-up, excuse me.
I can see you LinkedIn, yeah.
Yeah, but you don't see my browser for the moment. I'm sharing the bad way. Entire screen like this, much better. I would go to translate, and then here you just choose your preferred language, and it will all translate to English or whatever you like.
And that's a fantastic tip because in post-16 in our colleges and HE, we've got multilingual learners. So if you didn't know how to do it, now you do.
Enjoy.
Thank you so much, Raf. I really appreciate your time. So people can reach you on LinkedIn?
Yeah, do reach out on LinkedIn. I often read my messages. Very welcome.
Yes, I can confirm that. Yeah, you're very responsive and generous on your time and advice. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Alex. See you.
See you.